We can only change the rotation, obviously, of the implant when it's the day of surgery.
Right.
Can't change that later on.
Yeah, because it's integrated. You
Absolutely.
can't turn that
It
in
is.
the future.
Right.
What are the most common patient complaints with All-on-4 that you see? Bulk, speech issues, cheek, lip biting.
I think that the number one problem I see is concerned with the bulk of the prosthesis, right? And food traffic. I think these two things, like hygiene and the bulk of prosthetic. So both of these kind of go hand in hand, because when the prosthesis is bulked to it, on especially on the outside, acts like almost like a corner that they can clean, or their brush can go in, or their water pick can go in clean. So that bulk plays into it. And if the bulk is on the inside, on towards the tongue side,
Right.
that bulk reflects to them not being able to speak properly. Right? Which is why, again, we were talking about that we can design teeth anywhere we want. But if the implants, which are placed in the best quality of bone that's available, are a little bit toward the inside, we sometimes have to go in later on and change that multi-unit angulation to kind of try to fix that and improve his speech. So I think these two are the biggest factors. We have smaller issues here and there with cheek bite, tongue bite, lip bite, but those are really manageable. But I think the toughest of them to manage is like the bulk of it
Right.
and the hygiene.
Right. And like how imperative it is to really know, again, keeping the end in mind, where is the ideal positioning of the teeth supposed to be in the end, right? So having those surgical guides and making sure that you know, like I love working with you guys because I find the upper all-on-4s and the multi-unit abutment, the implant rotation and the multi-unit abutment timing, because that only rotates at certain angles, they absolutely best positioning for that dental implant and making sure that we have the proper rotation of that multi-unit abutment to be very ideal. Whenever I'm doing a surgery, that's what I like, unless it's a case that the patient has monster sinuses or it's a more complicated procedure. I want to set you guys up for success so that patient's going to be happy in the end. So getting that rotation of the implant and the multi-unit abutment timing is critical. And that's why I like to refer to you guys. Hey, I want you to double check my work here, so.
And just kind of reiterate what you were saying about the timing, like just for, people who are viewing this video, we can only change the rotation, obviously, of the implant when it's the day of surgery.
Right.
Can't change that later on.
Yeah, because it's integrated. You
Absolutely.
can't turn that
It
in
is.
the future.
Right? So that multi-unit angulation has to be selected in the best possible way at
Right.
that very time. The reason is that the head of that abutment, which seats in the implant, is in the shape of a hexagon.
Right.
And it can only rotate or switched out in specific orientation. It can't just be placed any way you want to.
Right.
It'll only go 3 places. So if you have to go in between of those 2 positions, we have to rotate the implant to get to that position.